Hey, all you Bonsai Time listeners. This is another annual recap of our year of 2023. But don't forget, we now have a new co-host. Kelly, please say hi.
Hi.
And Ryan, please say hi.
Hello.
And myself, Kevin. We all thanks for listening and tuning in for the last year. And this episode, we're just going to talk about what we want to see for the future of 2024 going forward, recap on what we learned from the last 2 years, and, just have fun, laugh about it, and enjoy this holiday break we're on. So for all of you that don't know, again, we have now been in business for almost 2 years now, and we appreciate all the listens and everything else.
We recorded our episode with Dan about exactly 2 years ago, even though we released it a couple months later. So I'll say it's been officially 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Semantics.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about goals and things in that way. I'm in Oregon, reporting live in Oregon, as I was in Japan last time, this time of year. Still working on bonsai. I feel like we've done a lot this year with the little bit of time we've had. And we're going to do more for 2024, just with Kelly bringing new stuff to the table too. Ryan, you were saying with episodes we've looked at with the analytical data and things, that which one spoke to you the most from the last 2 years of recording?
That's a good question. Well, I was saying that the Jim Doyle episode was one that kind of inspired me to start my own bonsai nursery. Before that, I had no real plans to do that. I was focused on having good trees for the sake of my own enjoyment. And so when I would dig Yamadori, I would tell myself, I don't need to get a lot of trees. I need to spend my time finding a couple of good ones, And I still will try to have that mindset to some extent, especially in the realm of Yamadori. I prefer to focus on quality. But I did accumulate material. And I heard that episode with Jim where he was saying that when he was starting out, him starting a nursery is kind of what funded him going to more shows and getting out into the bonsai world more. And being a grad student, you are mindful of these things, mindful of your limitations, especially financially. So I will say I started my nursery this year, finally kind of taking Jim's advice there that he was talking about his own journey, but it can still work today. So looking back on my year, I got my official inspection this year. I sold at our Columbus show. That was my first bonsai event that I sold at. And then I sold again at the Cincinnati show. And both of those went very well. And then I've also been doing some general public sales, almost like a farmer's market, but apparently those are a pain to get into. But things like that, like vintage markets and things like that.
So like a creator's market, artist market kind of deal.
Yeah, and you just kind of stumble across people that are interested in plants and be like, oh, have you ever thought about bonsai? So it's refreshing to talk to new people. And it's surprising if you ever, in a place like that, come across people that, I had a bunch of bonsai like years ago, and then I got out of it. But maybe now I'll get back into it. And so there was a guy at the last event I went to that was like that. So we may have some new people in the Columbus show just from getting out there in front of people. You kind of remind them, hey, this is a fun thing to do, hopefully.
And for all the listeners and new listeners for this episode, what is the name of your nursery?
In Vivo Bonsai. I should be better at marketing myself, but that's the new name.
There's a goal
as of this year. Yeah.
Yep. Kelly, how about you? What's this last couple of years been for you? I know this is new podcasting for you, but you did win the Ben Oki Scholarship, as we talked about in your introductory episode, and things in that way. How's those things going on? How are they coming along? And how do you feel about a couple episodes you've recorded, maybe releasing soon on the podcast?
I think it's going to take time to get comfortable doing podcasting. But I do like meeting people and learning about who they are and why they do what they do. So I have a list of people, and I've already reached out to people to schedule after the holidays. a lot of them are local just because there's a lot of people here that
Yeah.
I am interested in getting to know. There's a few that are not local that I'm pretty sure they'd be interested in talking to us and see how that goes. This year, I just kind of felt like I was swept up into bonsai, just with starting with getting lessons from Mel and ending with being part of this wonderful team here for podcasting. And in between, I ended up joining like 6 or 7 clubs now. And hopefully next year I won't do that. It just kind of I got over enthusiastic. And then I just volunteered anywhere I could. So I think showing up over time, it gets people to realize you're actually enthusiastic and eager to learn and be a part of the community and helping. So I think that makes a big difference for people starting. If you can volunteer with your clubs and just help them whenever you have time, I think it makes a big difference in your own growth, but also meeting people and showing your interest. And I think also this year I tried to go to as many shows and conventions and bonsai gardens, probably an excessive amount.
That's
but
good.
it just kind of happened. It wasn't like I planned to do it. It just, again, things are just kind of, I'm just getting swept up into things and I take advantage of the opportunities.
Yeah. That's, I think, how Ryan and I both in ourselves have just become better acquainted with the network that we've, have each individually or that we've created with the podcast and things, just because, like you said, you show up, you give your time, you're there present, and you want to learn. People pick up on that pretty quick. And that shows just spending time with you at nationals and things, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was great.
Kevin, I
Myself,
don't think I've heard the story about how you got more involved in bonsai, like and in detail. For example, how did you get on the Columbus board when you moved out here, or like were you involved in the volunteering and organizing in Portland also?
Right, because we're talking about Bonsai Society Portland, right? My home club, home base. So the first event I ever volunteered at was the annual show, the last one to take place at the Portland Japanese Garden. And my first bonsai teacher and mentor, ongoing as well, studies with him, Lee Cheadle. Hope to have him on the podcast someday soon, just to express his stories and his learned tutelage.
Wasn't that one that we had recorded and then it like didn't actually record or something?
Got deleted on accident. So that was a learning experience. Yeah.
Well, you're in Portland again. Maybe you can fix that one, but
I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
And in relation to that, he had told me, and I heard that from him speaking just broad statements to the whole crowd of people when he was president for Bonsai Society Portland, which was back in 2016, 2015, 2017 still. That if you want to do more, volunteer more and show up and be present and actively learn. And so that's what I did. And I took, heed to those words, and that got me to a lot of people, connected with a lot of people, and just being very, generally, if you meet me, I'm pretty reserved and not so like boom, boom, boom. But when you get me around bonsai people, it's like no holds barred. Let's talk. Let's have fun. And, like that, what's it called? Introverted extrovert. So I, if bonsai's around, it's like, let's chat, let's do the thing, right? Just really being present and trying to be more open. How I got to be on the Columbus board was through Rob Hoffman, a close personal friend of all of ours now, I will say. He contacted me because he knew I was from Portland. He knows what's going on out here back in 2018 when I moved to Columbus, Ohio, with my wife. And we then he was like, come on, you need to get on. And I didn't really want to. I was very reluctant because I didn't know what that would entail. But since I've been on now, just being more present with that, helped Rob start his build his nursery, volunteered my time with him to help sell at shows before my daughter was born, obviously, before 2020. And then, now being on other boards and other clubs I'm involved with, it's just kind of kind of just through those progressions that way, it's kind of just flooded the market for me to be able to have a lot of contacts in different ways. I will say the biggest one that helped me a lot was getting to know Chase Rosade and Jim Doyle. Not to say like they helped me get anywhere, but just in relation to being able to talk to them and hearing people's names really helped connect the dots that way too. Because if I think about where I was at, as my wife always tells me, it's very fortunate that we're now in Ohio because you've been able to bridge your own gap from the West to the East to the Midwest as well, from the people you've made a network with on your own. Like, that's a really good point. So, yeah, that's one of my goals for myself this year is to just be able to contact more people and create a bigger influence of a therapeutic approach with bonsai now, and what I'm going to school for and things. But as far as the podcast goals, what are we all thinking? I know we just talked about our own personal stuff.
Oh, did you talk about your bonsai reflection and for this year already?
Oh, no, I have
I think
not.
I got you distracted.
A little bit. It's cool. Shiny. I was able to really solidify my time as a new parent, new father, with my child, and reflection of where am I spending my time more of if I'm not spending it with her. And it was within my own practice of having developmental material that I didn't need any longer. And it came to the conclusion that I'm going to get rid of most of my developmental material because it's taking more time away from me spending it with my wife and my daughter. And the time I'm at now with my daughter, I won't get back. And she's growing ever so much faster than I can actualize. And every day is a new day, and it's great. So I have now literally gotten over half my collection in regards of material that I would have kept and tried to work with that wasn't giving me any progressive growth that I would want. So my next goal for myself as far as bonsai related things are to get better material almost in refinement or at refinement, and then take more classes and be more available to host some workshops, as Ryan, you and I have some planned for some local people and things in that way, and just be more attainable to project more for the club at the school as well, the Ohio State Bonsai Club at the Ohio State University. So, those are things. We got to start that last year. Just a lot of things that,
yeah, I guess we did just start that last year.
Yeah, it's been a year now. It's been a lot. Met Kelly this year, so I was told by a close personal friend who's a professional bonsai artist, very well renowned. I'm not going to mention his name, but he told me when I saw him at the Pacific Bonsai Expo that he listens to our podcast and he really likes what we're doing. And he told me this little tidbit of you are doing good things, and you may not know you're doing good things at the time you're doing it, but people also know that you're doing good things, and they may not realize it, but they know that it's good and they know they want more. So he said, keep on going. And I was like, wow, coming from this person, that was a hugest compliment I think I've ever had in regards of like a project that people and myself are a part of. So I want to say I commend us all on what we've been doing. But now, where are we going to go? Is the podcast, right? What do we have for goals? So I know last year we set the goals for Ryan and I, now including Kelly, was to, more traveling interviews, maybe getting some Japan artists on. We definitely got better audio equipment. We have been searching for artists that haven't been interviewed or not much of an online presence, but are really good. I believe we've given better information just by the people we've been able to interview and or hold time with. I've gotten to know you better, Ryan. Now our next goal is to both of us get to know Kelly a lot better. And we're still gaining our voice in how we can relate to people in our podcasting sphere and have our podcast be a better thing. And in relation to, I've solidified for myself a goal for our podcast is that I want it to be a major avenue for historical context and availability to know where people have come from and where we're going, just by the talking points we're having and the continuous artists and creators and influences of people that have since retired or ongoing from the bonsai and outside of that too. Because it's safe to say not every bonsai artist continues their bonsai practice, but they still are doing art, right? So, what do you all have in mind for the goal for this year for the podcast?
Kelly, do you want to go first?
Sure. Well, I like Kevin's thought of preserving history, like where they came from, where they're going. I personally love hearing people's stories. I can sit for hours just letting them talk about that, because I think there's lessons for us to get from them in their life. But I kind of made a little list. Number one, have fun and learn. Number two, I think scheduling guests that we want to get to know, because I think if we're curious about them or want to know about, maybe we already know them, but we want to know something about their techniques or thoughts on certain things, I think other people would want to hear it too. Maybe secure some reoccurring sponsorship, because I think there are some businesses, nurseries, or whatever out there that it could be mutually beneficial. So I think if it could benefit them, I think it's worth mentioning them on our program. But I think that is just something that's going to have to be worked out on its own.
Yeah. Well,
and then just
one quick thing on that. We did just have our first official sponsorship. Thank you, Grow Clothing Co. Brian Six, our good friend here in Ohio.
great.
Yeah, so that's in the recent episodes that came out. And I think we're kind of open to hearing from the listener perspective. How did they like how we did that ad? Did they want us to put it at the beginning, at the middle? You know, we're kind of experimenting with that right now. But at least we can say we've started that process. And so if anybody else wants their company to be a sponsor of an episode, you can just email us directly at bonsaitimepodcast@gmail.com. Okay, continue. Sorry.
And then I guess the fourth goal, at least for me with the podcast, is just getting more comfortable talking. Because when we're not recording and I know there's no camera on, I'm fine. As soon as that turns on, I'm like, wow, I feel like I can't even talk.
That's fair. It gets hard because especially depending on who you're talking to, you can already be nervous with. And then in relation be like, now I'm double nervous. Damn it. Those are great goals. I thank you for writing them down. That helps a lot too, because then it's like that check mark box, right? It's like college classes. All I have to do is this many more, then I'm done with my degree, you know. At least that's what I do. Did you have any more, or was that your list?
That's my list. I didn't want to make it too long because I think focusing on a few things is better than trying to spread myself too thin.
Definitely. Yeah. Smaller goals to get to the bigger end goal. How about you, Ryan?
I skimmed an article about New Year's resolutions before hopping on this call. So they did mention you're not supposed to commit to too many things. So I guess we can make a distinction between plans and resolutions. I feel like plans are like everything under the sun. You can make a lot of plans, but it's like, what will you actually commit to doing? That's how I view the difference. I also have a lot of plans, but focusing on the resolutions, one of my resolutions for this year is for us to post at least one interview a month. We'll try to do it around the first weekday of every month. We were really good in 2022. I was looking back at our old episodes today a little bit. We were pretty consistent about posting monthly all of 2022. And in 2023, I started the nursery. We were doing Yamadori. We were doing our show. So lots of things were going on in 2023. In total, we did pretty much come to about 12 episodes this year. But I think next year we can work on getting back to being consistent. And I'm glad that we had our chat with Tori Solis not too long ago. Although in the listener timeline, it's going to be coming out either right before or right after this episode. But she was telling us how she batches her episodes. And so she kind of like plans out very far in advance which episodes are going to drop when. And on this winter, you know, in between fall semester and spring semester, or whatever they call it here at OSU, I'm not teaching right now, so it's much easier for me to be doing editing. So I'm going to try to get a couple months ahead. And then hopefully that gives us a good head start for meeting this new revived resolution, let's say.
Yeah.
But yeah. And we may end up posting more than that, but that's kind of the minimum baseline. That's my goal.
It's a good one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any others?
I didn't write down other ones. That was the one main one. I do have others that are like plans if we have time. So I really enjoy our history episodes. I enjoy hearing our episodes that are from the perspective of people that have been in the scene for a long time, that may have some certain techniques to share or may have stories to share about whatever it may be. The image of Dennis and a bunch of other Japanese Americans getting drunk at bonsai conventions kinds of comes to mind, but I don't know how frequently that happened, but for some reason that's an image that's in my head. But those are always fun to hear.
I've heard a lot of stories about that.
Yeah,
but probably more often than not.
Yeah, so I enjoyed those episodes, but I also want to do more educational episodes. I think when we first met, I had talked about that idea, but it's a matter of me having the time to do a bunch of research and then compiling it into some informative kind of format for us to discuss or explain to the listeners. So I don't know how much detail we want to give about those ideas until we're ready to share them, until we have it finished.
Do you think it's possible to have a condensed version for a bite-sized attribute to where it's a going off point to get people to research themselves more or give them ability to research on certain topics?
It may be possible. Well, I'll just go out and say it, I guess. We can cut it if we regret me saying it. But so being interested in diseases, I was hoping to do like a deep dive on different plant diseases and explain like, okay, what exactly is it? What's the transmission cycle? And then if you understand the basic biology of it, who is susceptible, who can carry it, who can spread it, then you can understand better how to treat it. So I was hoping to do more of a deep dive like that, but it is also possible we could just give like, maybe we could do something like have a short explainer for a disease on each episode instead of 30 minutes about one disease, just to give people some awareness that, hey, this is out there,
Or we could talk about what a disease or pathogen is, right? What takes it,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're getting into a can of worms there.
Well, a starting off point in relation to like what creates an environment for that, right?
Yeah, I think this just requires a PhD microbiologist to go on into the details for some reason.
Kelly, I wish we knew one. This is gosh, darn it.
Anyways, maybe one day we'll get into that.
When we have time. Some goals I have are that we each find our voice. As Ryan, you just stated, you want to do more science background, horticultural, pathogenicity, or some scientific, I'll call it Ryan Science Corner. And Kelly, finding your voice in that way too. I think that we can definitely find our own voices and how we want to have our own episodes reflect our own personality. Like I always say, we're trying to find our personality in our trees. This is just another branching off, no pun intended, of who we are and how we interact with people. And I think that would shine through really brightly. And I think that would be cool because it would be different offsets of each person in their way of discussing. Because I know I do my way, very long, outdrawn. Ryan's very much, on reflection of it, you're very much intentional with questions and finding that very efficient data and information. Kelly, similar to me, but you have your own way of doing it too, and putting questions out there that are very informative, but also direct. And I think we're going to find some new stuff, and that's fun this next year because Kelly's going to have her own episodes that are released apart from us. And, I really want to see us individually take on some episodes too. And I think that would be really cool too, because we'll find more about ourselves and the listeners will have some fun too. I want our podcast to start doing some more amateur roundtable talks with other people, similar to the one we just did with Julian. That was really fun and very informative, I think, too, because it's different climates, different people, different just thought processes. I think that's what I've heard a lot from as far as feedback, especially from the national show. People were telling me and I'm not quoting anybody here, but I paraphrase. If that's horrible, I apologize. But hey, put some more amateur people on, get some more people our way. We like to hear about the professionals, but we also want to hear about the Joe Schmoes and the, Pams and whoever, and I think if we can do that too, it'd be a well-rounded resource, because we're all going to have our little shtick and be able to kind of go with that too. But if we can find our full encompassing roundabout, it'll be even a lot better. What do you guys think? There's a lot to unpack here in relation to 2 years going on, and still more to come. But I think if we can fine tune it, like you guys are talking about, especially with sponsorships and things that way, that's a new avenue. We're just generating our breakdown of that and things in that way.
Yeah. In terms of you're talking about like having us find our voice, I think we are on our way to that already. Like Kevin, you've been doing a lot of interviews these last 2 years. You've led a lot of them. So I think you've that's okay. Because I didn't always have time to go do these, and I'm also more comfortable in the backseat sometimes in terms of a conversation, which is not the best if you're a podcast host, but I'm comfortable with it.
You can get better though, you're getting your front seat driver's license instead of your backseat driver's license.
Yes, I am getting more comfortable with it, I'd say. But I do think that we are on the path. Like, we just recorded our Christmas episode, which we got to experiment with a new format, kind of like my planned out script and discussing along the way. So that may be something similar to what we could do when we get to those disease episodes one day in the future, or something like that.
Definitely.
And then, we had a couple of science ones that we did, but we haven't released yet.
Yeah,
so
those something
will be really
to look forward
to, where we had an interview subject who was kind of more scientifically inclined. So that can also, I'm excited to release those. Hopefully other people will get things out of them.
He's significantly scientifically inclined.
Yeah.
Not to put it lightly. That's his career.
But and then Kelly's like doing her own interviews already. So who knows where that's going to lead, but she's getting her practice in too already.
And another one I have for us is to possibly find someone who's wanting to edit outside of us, because we have lots going on, and that would be more efficient for us and things in that way. But that's neither here nor now. But it's all growing, and I think our podcast, as what we have now, is turning into something completely different than we thought it was, as it's becoming its own entity and its own animal, which is great. But we're just along for the ride, I think, with it. I think we're doing good stuff. And to think it all started with Dan Robinson.
Yeah, when we started, I don't think I thought very far ahead past, I had this episode with Julian and Andy, and then let's interview Dan. And then I didn't really think much beyond that.
I thought of the big picture. I'm like, as you know, Brian's always said, oh, you're the idea person because you have so many. Boom, 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 like Rocky. And then it's like, I think Kelly would be the good balance between us both, because she can go both sides. It's like, all right, guys, come on. And it's a completely different perspective, because that's the thing I'm excited the most about too, is finding more about how you are and who you are, but also what dictates you and your bonsai abilities through how your climate, your environment has interacted with you. That's exciting, because California, I haven't spent enough time there to even say I know what it's about, so I won't.
Yeah, I think during Julian's episode, you guys were shocked that the maple leaves here haven't fallen off.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, let me go look at my maples, which I got from Oregon, Eugene. Just a weird story about that, but and the leaves haven't fallen in them, so I don't know. I guess I'm supposed to cut them off or something, but they're holding on.
Did they change color?
Yeah, one recently turned really red.
I think it'll happen if it gets cold enough.
Yeah, put them in the freezer. I don't know. Is there anything else that y'all can think of that you'd like to see or do, or maybe want to hear more from our listeners about?
How do we hear from them?
Occasionally we get like DMs in our Instagram, or I guess this is another thing we could improve on, is a couple of times this year we've put out a heads up on our Instagram about who we're interviewing next and like solicited some questions from them. So we'll try to do more of that this year. So on our Instagram stories is usually where you'll find that. So you can submit some questions for who our next interviews will be.
Interviewee.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
So yeah, occasionally we'll hear from them that way. We also have the Gmail. Occasionally we'll hear from them that way. Maybe this episode reminding them of the fact that we have that will make them use it more.
Do a big
You're welcome to use
Instagram banner.
That's what I'll say. Yeah. And there's also like the ratings on different podcast apps. Although I check those periodically, but not really with any frequently.
Right. They do help. But also resharing anything that way, reviews are free and don't take much time, so we appreciate it. I guess one other thing I would say is that once we become more comfortable with all what we're doing, that'll shine even brighter because we'll be able to joke more. We'll be able to have our own conversations, just like friendly. As Kelly, as you stated, the camera comes on, you get kind of like, ooh. But it comes in time, and I still get, I see myself. I'm like, oh God. It's just, it'll be fun because we're growing as individuals, but also as a team. So let's keep pushing. Pardon me, drinking the water.
Can I ask a tangent question? Are there like bonsai events that you're looking forward to going to this year? Maybe in California or elsewhere, Kelly, or?
I'm debating about going to the Kokufu 10.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Yeah, tickets were a lot cheaper. Flight tickets were cheaper like a few months ago when I was about to go, like plan on going. And then I talked to Kevin a little bit about Japan, and he said it's probably not too hard to go get around by yourself.
Not at all. Yeah.
But just thinking about it, I don't know if I would actually benefit that much going this year. Just because I could look at a nice tree and just go, it's nice, but I can't think, I can't really think of anything else about the tree. Like, to look at it and go, I don't know why they chose that pot. I don't know what they did to the tree to make it look that way.
Yeah. But if you spend more time with Doyle,
if you know someone else in California going, you could go there and discuss the trees together, to get that deeper level.
Yeah, I don't know if Jonas is going. I don't think he made up his mind yet. Probably not.
I'm planning to go not this year, coming up, but next year, so 2025.
Okay.
February. So if that is any inclination, I'll be with the family too. So they'll give me that time and we'll probably walk around, but we could nerd out if you're there.
Yeah, and I think the 100th anniversary is in 2026. So someone said that might be a good time to go.
That'd be really busy.
Yes. So I kind of wanted to go see it once before see a show before it got busy. The other one someone mentioned was Bonsai Central in St. Louis.
St. Louis, Missouri, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a big show. And then I have a friend in Austin who pretty much convinced me to go to the Houston show. Nice. Just because she says.
What time of year is the show in Houston?
Excuse me?
What time of year is the show in Houston?
I think it's in April.
Oh, okay.
Is that summer?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, summer. It's time to call you out.
Hopefully, she said she's willing to help me practice doing a podcast, but I actually have some ideas. She's pretty fun to talk to. So let's see if she's game. But I think that's as far as I go. I've thought, other than the clubs in California, which I'll.
What about the PBE?
Those. Oh yeah, that one too.
I was like, come on, you're right.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be driving up there.
Nice. How about you, Ryan? Any shows besides Columbus?
Well, one of my resolutions, let's say, for my nursery is I want to try to vend at every Ohio show this year. So last year I ended up hitting 2 of them. And the ones I didn't get to, I visited the Cleveland show, but that was before the Columbus show, so I wasn't vending then. And then there's also the Akron Canton show. Haven't been to their show yet. And then there's a Sandusky Club. I don't know any of the details about their show, but I just think those are achievable for me to travel to without taking much time off work. And so it's much easier to schedule. Because, I was thinking about trying to go to maybe some regional show. But I'm restricted because I'm teaching pretty much until April. And then I was thinking, about taking a trip to visit my girlfriend's family in May. So I don't really want to take a lot of time off work in that time. And then I'm teaching again starting in like August or September. So probably can't go to PBE very easily either. So yeah, I'm thinking more locally this year, trying to get my name, my nursery, my name out there locally, meeting more people locally. Maybe in the next year, I'll be able to take the time to go to a regional show, you know.
Would you go to the Michigan or Chicago show? Because the Michigan show is the ABS show this year.
I was looking at that one, but
May.
it's in May, which is when I don't want to take time off to do it. So,
school is out in April.
right. But at the end of May is when I'm going to be visiting Claire's family. So I don't want to take PTO like in the same month, you know.
But isn't it on a weekend?
Well, visiting her family will be like a whole week thing or something, you know. Probably
Right, I'm
driving back to
saying,
New
could you
Jersey.
drive to what is it, in Michigan? It's only like 4 hours, and then come back that Sunday.
Yeah, maybe it will be possible for me to go like for a day or two. I know the show is more days than that, especially, yeah.
I'll be there for it because I'm helping set up some of that. I don't know if you knew, I'm on the ABS board now. It's kind of a thing that happened. No, that's exciting. Yeah, that's a lot of shows in Ohio now, locally too. So that'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You should insure your car with your business. That way you can ride home.
Yeah.
That'd be good. We can cut that out.
But still working on that business thing, you know. Who knows if this will be I have no idea what I'm going to do when I graduate, but it's nice to have options.
That's good. It's good. Microbiology, you know.
Yep.
For myself and shows, I'll be going to the ABS show, like I said. Wanted to go to the Bonsai Central, but it just doesn't work out with, you know, monetary things and time and work and clients. I will see about trying to get to the Chicago show this year. I could drive up easy and then bring the family and, you know, just do that and have some fun time in Chicago. Last time I was there was 2018 when we were visiting Columbus to scope it out before we moved there. Hoping to visit the PBE, Pacific Bonsai Expo show this next fall and have more than just 7 hours in California. Because last time I flew in basically the night before and then flew out 2 a.m. in the morning the next day.
Oh my gosh.
So it was a whole thing. I don't want to do that again. But everyone's like, wow, you really are living the bonsai life. I'm like, yeah, but ideally I would hope to spend, you know, at least 2 to 3 days there and see some people in California and see some stuff. Other than that, the Columbus show, which we will discuss more later as far as where it will be taking place and things, because we have some big changes this year which are going to be beneficial for the community and access and things. So if any listeners are in Ohio or the surrounding area, please wait for some updates with that. We will have some more info on that soon. And then just more along the lines of getting I have a goal for myself this year with my daughter and bonsai is we're going to do a new planting of a juniper little whip that I've already styled and put it in a pot that she chooses. And it's going to be her little tree with me and her having that. So that'll be fun. I guess that's it for me.
That's cute.
More time with the family. You should try that with Buck.
Yeah. I'll put treats in all the different pots that are options and see which ones he goes for first.
There you go. That sounds like a plan. Yeah, I think we covered a lot there, guys. Listeners, we appreciate it. Thank you for helping us keep going, and thank you for listening to this drabble on. But like I said, if you have any insights, wants, needs, desires of us within limits, please let us know. And also just please feel free to give us some questions just about anything. And
you know what, Kevin?
Yeah,
we should mention we have a new website.
Yes, we should. What is our website, Ryan?
Well, it's the same address as that it used to be. It's bonsaitimepodcast.com, but now it directs to its own thing. So if you do have a question, or if you do want to know more about certain episodes, that would be a good starting point, you know.
Also, to listener, if you like us talking about trees in relation of your personal trees and us kind of breaking them down, like we did with Angelica Ramirez, if you want to see more of that, please feel free to send them in with your name, climate, your location, state, part of the world you're in, whatever, and what you want to see or thinking of doing with your tree, how old, all the things. And then maybe we can include them in a couple episodes going forward.
Yeah,
I think Ryan. Oh, yeah.
I was just going to say I really enjoy doing those segments when we do get trees submitted. So,
and maybe we could keep it to episodes singularly or all together. Who knows? On that note, I'm going to say I bid you all adieu. Happy New Year, happy holidays, whatever you celebrate, listeners included. Thank you for being here, Kelly and Ryan. I look forward to 2024. Let's keep it going.
Lots to look forward to.
Yeah, and as we all say,
oh yeah, happy New Year,
and happy New Year. Yeah, as we all say, have fun and
bonsai
on. There we go.
We weren't in sync. It's okay.
Let's go.
That makes it more fun.
Yeah.
See you guys in the new year.
Today's episode was recorded, edited, and produced by Ryan Houston, Kevin Ferris, and Kelly Louie. To find out more and see pictures relevant to today's topic or sponsors, see the show notes linked in the description or at bonsaitimepodcast.com. To submit questions, suggestions, or tree pictures for future discussion, find the contact form also on our website or message us directly at bonsaitimepodcast@gmail.com. If you would like to support us in making more episodes, consider rating us, sharing with friends, donating, or becoming a sponsor. Our music was provided by MIDI Cancer. To find more of their work, check out their SoundCloud and Bandcamp pages. To stay in touch with us, subscribe to us in your podcast app or find us on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at Bonsai Time Podcast or on TikTok at Bonsai Time Pod. Also, Kevin and Kelly are at Kevin_Ferris PNW and Bonsai with Kelly, respectively, on Instagram. And Ryan is invivobonsai.com and on all social media. Remember, have fun and bonsai on.